Hello, everybody. We are starting off this episode with yet another ailment of one of my children.
This could be a theme.
I am here to talk about my daughter's broken arm. She broke it while she was at school. And I just have kind of a wild experience at the hospital that I would like to share and hear people's thoughts. So she broke her arm. We went to urgent care. We didn't think it was broken. Lo and behold, it was. And they had told us that not only was it broken now, but it had been broken in the same exact spot previously, which we were unaware of. Of course, that sent me down like a spiral. I was like, did this happen when she was a baby? And they were like, no, this happened within the last 1 to 2 months. And so me and my husband were like, when in the hell did this happen? And how did we not know that our child was walking around with a broken arm? But she was. So not only was it broken, but we had to go to the emergency room because it had to be reset into place. So upon learning all of this, I was really overwhelmed. And then, of course, thrown right at me was that she was going to need to be sedated for the readjustment with, I had two wonderful choices of fentanyl or ketamine.
Party bag.
Yeah, right? I'm like, do we not have, extra strength Motrin? Like, we are at a children's hospital. Why are these my only two options? It felt really aggressive. Multiple doctors came in to reassure me that this is like what's used with kids. It's very, very safe. They were like, the fentanyl is just a mild drip. I'm like,
it's a microdose.
You can't use fentanyl and mild for me in the same sentence. And they're like, it just has a bad name on the streets. I'm like, yeah, no fucking shit. It has a bad name on the streets. I'm seeing people keeled over, zombies. We're in an apocalypse because they're on fentanyl.
We do live very close to Kensington, so we are acutely aware.
I'm like, I'm going to decline this. They're like, are you sure? I asked her if she had ever done an adjustment with the bone without giving kids this. She said maybe once or twice to high school kids where she can explain really what is going to happen. So I was just like, if fentanyl and ketamine are my only two options, I choose no. And so we did it cold turkey. She really, really did great. Of course, nobody wants to hear their child she cried because they had to put her bone back in place. And it was really sad because she just she just sat there with her arm out and was crying about it. So that broke my heart, but she did awesome. And I walked away from that situation being like, fuck yeah, we didn't need the ketamine, we didn't need the fentanyl. And then I went and spoke with a pediatrician who was like, no, you should have given it to her because I'm walking out of there being like,
so reassuring.
Yeah, she was just like, not that I should have given it to her, but she was just like, it is really, really safe, apparently. And the doctor there was like, listen, she's not going to get addicted. I'm like, I'm not worried about my 3-year-old hitting up the streets in Kensington. That's not my concern here. My concern is my concern is making her high. There was something that felt weird about being like, you're going to sit here and you're going to get a quick little high while we fix your bone. And then, and they're like, oh, it's in and out of the system really quickly. But I don't know. What would you have done?
So first, I just want to say, and I said this to you already, but she has an incredibly high pain tolerance. I just broke my foot a year ago. And I mean, I wasn't walking around and living a normal life.
Yeah, so, I think adults also handle pain. Toddlers are out of their minds. But somebody did say that she probably has a very high pain tolerance. But I feel like toddlers are just monsters.
Yeah, for sure. There's nothing stopping them.
Yeah.
But I have no clue, candidly, what I would have done. I definitely am the type of person in those scenarios. I listen to the professionals.
Yeah.
But it's so quick. And that's what probably would have given me a pause. Even with myself, they're thinking of when I've gotten filler or whatever in the past. This was a thing years ago where they'd be like, do you want a nerve block before we do it? And
What's a nerve block?
Where you don't feel anything.
They inject you with something?
Yeah, they inject you, but then it makes you totally numb so you don't feel all the needles or whatever. This was definitely something that they used to do. I've never been offered this in a long time. But my point is, if something is really painful, but for a really short period of time, I would rather just get it over with than deal with the side effects of ketamine.
Yeah.
So I probably would have done the same thing, but hopefully you didn't traumatize her.
Well, so then, hopefully I didn't traumatize her, but if you think the story is done, it's not. So then she went to school, and this was just a few days ago. She came home and she was like, can you please take out the pink hexagon that's in my cast before I go to sleep for my nap? I'm like, what do you mean? She said, there's a pink hexagon that I put in there. So I called the school and I confirmed that she did indeed shove a pink hexagon in her cast. So we had to go, I called the doctor and they were like, this is considered an emergency because wherever this item is, it could be leaning on her skin in like a really bad way and cause a lot of damage. So we go back to the doctor. They had to cut her cast off. Pink hexagon does pop out. This is the part that freaked me out, was it falls out and the doctor was like, oh, why did you put this in there? And right on the spot, that chick came up with the best lie. And she was like, well, it looked like it was part of my cast, so I was just putting it back together. And she's not wrong, because her cast was pink. And looking at them next to each other, they looked very similar. And I let her have that lie. Like, the doctor was like, oh my gosh, I could so understand, but the good thing about your cast is it's not going to fall apart. And this chick's like, yeah, I fucking know that. Yeah. I'm just like, I don't want to get in trouble. So we leave and I'm like, did you really think it was part of your cast? And she's not trying to lie to me. And I'm just like, let me let her have it. But what I was going to say was, when they were recasting her, she started to cry because she said, are you going to push it? Are you going to push it? Because she was scarred from when they readjusted her bone. And they were like, we're not doing that again. I promise. And then she let them recast her and they were like, no more adjustments. You're fine. So she did remember it, but like, and I don't know if she did the fentanyl or the ketamine. Maybe I don't know, did you black out? Like,
no, I think that
she would have, no experience.
Yeah. I think she would have remembered it, but probably it just wouldn't have been as, I don't know, in the forefront.
Does it take away the pain?
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know what it does.
I think that one of those two things is in a drip when you get an epidural.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I do believe that.
What?
I remember that when I recently gave birth, maybe it was fentanyl, because I felt really good. And I remember commenting to the nurse being like, I feel really good. Like, mentally, like something is doing it for me right now. She's like, oh, there's fentanyl in the something. So I don't know.
What?
We're gonna look it up and confirm in the comments. But I do think that there is some type of like pain. That? I don't know. Are they disclosing that much when you're giving birth? I feel like it's just like you're in the minutia of it. Anyway, that's aside. That's a whole other topic.
That's crazy.
But the queen has gotten
Am I like
through.
that uneducated in what fentanyl really can do?
Same.
Because all I know is like when they're keeled over in the streets.
Yeah, I don't think it's great. I mean, I don't think that we are like medicinally microdosing it. But
wow.
All right. Well.
Wow. Okay. So now she's got So she's going through it though. She's doing great. She's a trooper.
Yeah.
Kids are out of their minds.
Yeah, they are, and there's always something.
Yeah, I know.
Well, just to lighten the mood a little bit here, am obsessing over trips. And I'm talking like adult trips.
Yeah, I know.
So I just went to Miami. Mm-hmm. It was the first time I've been there since my bachelorette. Mm-hmm. I had the best time. Yeah. I had the best time. Well, I'm like a Palm Beach girl, as you know.
Yeah.
But this felt no kids. Like, this had to be something different. This had to be liberating. So I went to Miami. I loved it. I immediately came home, maybe texted when I was there, and I was like, another girls trip. Like, we need to run it back. So we're planning a girls trip also. And it's not just the trip. It's figuring out the destination. It's the hotel. It's the dinners and, the activities, which are laying by the pool. I mean, the activities.
Drinking.
Yeah, wine at the pool.
Or shots.
Yeah, okay. It's the clothes. Like what I would wear in Miami. I'm not being caught dead in where we live. Yeah. So it's just all that comes.
You're not walking around in a string bikini at
No. So it's all that comes
at the pool with all that.
Yeah, at our country club pool. No, that's certainly not happening. So yeah, it's all that comes with these adult trips. And I was saying that I'm obviously postpartum now with my second. And when I was postpartum with my first, I did not really have these feelings. I was very consumed subconsciously with being a mom. And it really became my identity. And it's what I wanted. It's not like I was like, oh, like I just feel like a mom. I was really consumed with being a mom, and I wasn't really taking trips. And if I had to go somewhere, I was planning, one night max, and I was stressing over it and wasn't really doing a lot of girls' dinners. I feel like they were more sporadic because I wanted to be there for bedtime, which, by the way, like we still want that. But I don't know. I just
kind of.
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
I felt also that like my style changed a little bit. Not really that I was actively like purchasing things that were like more modest. It was just what was more conducive to like going to the park, and I wasn't like I didn't need the going out tops. It just I changed.
Well, I feel like when you have your first,
Yeah.
there's for me, there's so much like you're so much to focus on.
Yeah.
You're trying to like raise this baby while also recover yourself. And just when you think you're in the swing of things, there's another obstacle thrown your way. Like if your baby starts to crawl, you have to baby proof the house. And then it's next thing you know, it's 6 months and you got to start solids and you're diving down that rabbit hole for the first time. And I just feel like there's always something in that first year that there's not much more that you can focus on than just like being a good mom,
Yes.
but also like taking care of yourself. You have this new body. You're trying to figure out like I had a really hard time. Like I remember with like eating right, like
Yeah.
because I was just so focused on being a mom and doing all that stuff. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to figure out dinner and like eat right. There's so much to focus on that for me, it felt like anything extracurricular, even like working out, I feel like I had such a hard time getting back into it because I was just so hyper focused on like honestly being the best mom and
Yeah.
learning all these mom things.
Yes. I think you're spot on. I also think, which we talked about last week, there is this confidence that comes with being a second time mom. And to your
Yeah.
point, like, yes, I am still learning things every single day.
Mhm.
And there's challenges with having two that obviously don't come with having one.
Mhm.
But I think there's more space almost for me this time. I feel like I can be a mom plus other things. And it's so cliche to say, but I'm almost like remembering feelings and parts of myself that I just forgot. And maybe I lost them, but I just forgot. And it's super liberating. Like I'm excited. I'm like excited to do these trips, and where before they would have caused me anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm like, who wants to go away? Who wants to go to dinner? I want to pick this really cool outfit that like I would never wear at our country club pool or in front of my kid.
Yeah.
And I want to just like be somebody a little bit different than just so and so's mom, which is always probably going to be the forefront of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other parts of me. And I was just saying, like, it's so funny that I feel closer to my 20-something-year-old, non-mom person in a sense than I did to that person who was a first-time mom. I'm like a really interesting blend now.
Yeah,
and I feel more whole.
Yeah. Maybe this is a midlife crisis. I don't know, but I can agree
Thanks,
with you.
Rachel.
No, I don't. But we won't call it a midlife crisis. We'll call it like an identity shift because I feel like there's such an identity shift in your 30s. There's 9,000 reasons for why I feel like in our 30s, what it could be career, right? Yeah. Like when you're in your 30s, you're expecting hopefully to have like maybe climbed up a little bit in whatever career you're doing. Or I know so many people who like switched career in their 30s. If you're married, then you're dealing with a marriage and kids. Or if you're dating suddenly becomes much more serious in your 30s. Where you're living, you start thinking a little bit more about that in the future. I just feel like there's so much that changes in your 30s. And it makes you have these like identity. We won't call it a crisis. We'll call it a shift.
Yeah, it's a shift.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more with you.
Yeah.
I think your 20s are very much figuring out who you want to be. And I think your 30s, I by no means do I think like this is who you are now, but I think that you're more stable, or you're more in that place of like, okay, this is who I am at the moment. Exactly to your point though, it's like, your partner potentially is a much more like permanent partner. Your family planning, whatever that looks like for your family, or you as a person is single individual.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, like you're either more established in your career, or maybe you're taking a step back. Maybe you're, like we were, you decided to be a stay-at-home mom. And I don't know if that's permanent. I don't know if that's just for the moment, but that's an identity shift. I mean, I can speak for myself. I was in the corporate world. I was in high tech. It was a huge part of my identity, even after I had my son. Like I'm working, I have, a lot of responsibility at work. And, I would be lying to say if there isn't a void sort of in that, like, okay, if I'm not this career woman anymore, is there something that's going to take, that place? And I think candidly, like part of the podcast probably is filling some of that. Like 100%. Mental,
yeah, there's so much to change. Also, like, and I can speak to the stay-at-home mom thing. Like, I went to school for special education, and I got a master's in special education, and I worked in special education for 9 years or so, and now I am staying at home, and I don't know what my future holds in that regard, but like it is definitely something that I've had to adjust to, like the fact that I am home now, and I'm loving it, and I'm really grateful for this time. However, also like it's weird, like I'm not making money right now, and that's a weird feeling for me. Like I worked my ass off in school, and I got a master's degree, and now I'm just not contributing financially to the family, and that's a big like identity shift that I feel like, to find purpose in my days. And everyone's like, well, your purpose is your kids, and you're this and you're that, and like, you know, taking care of all these other things. But it's still a very weird feeling to have to like shift from like working so hard, and then all of a sudden I'm going to call it on pause for me right now. And it's something that I've spent so long like working towards. Also, another thing that I feel like I want to bring up too is in your 30s. We talked about this in our last episode about how you make new friends in your 30s, right? Like you move to a new town or a new city and you make these new friends. And so there's also a part of you that like, so in a way mourns I don't want to call it your old friendships, because my friends from college, high school, like they're my best friends, but I'm not living across the street from them anymore. And I remember the day that I drove from New York to Philly, and I was crying in the car. It was a very, very like depressing day for me, because I was already mourning that life of being across the street from my best friends. And now my relationships, like they require much more effort now. And going into New York City to try and see them, one of my friends was like, oh, you know, you sometimes make Philadelphia feel like a New York City suburb. I'm like, I'm trying my best, because those relationships are so important to me. But like, it's like sad. You leave, and it's like, I miss those days of running across the street hungover to hang out with my friends. Like you're mourning that time of your life for sure. And everything that's moving forward for you is amazing. But like, you're missing that part of your life. It's really sad.
Well, I think like any sort of major life change, it can be really lonely. And, you know, I think about obviously like from a mom perspective and like a trying to conceive and a pregnancy and a postpartum perspective, you know, for all intensive purposes, your identity as a mom likely, or as a woman, has changed more significant than your partner. And I think that the truth is it's hard when one person in the relationship's identity is like changing physically and mentally. And that can be really isolating and lonely also. And like trying to find your way back to, you know, the relationship that you had prior to having kids. And I know we want to have a whole other episode, you know, talking about that. But yeah, you know, as wonderful as it is, it can also be really lonely. And, you know, some of the things that I feel like in terms of like an identity shift in my 30s, I would say I'm much more confident in myself. I think like knowledge, right? Like I've had failures, I've had success, I've had breakups, friendship, and, you know, significant other, like romantic relationships.
You had to change your phone numbers. I didn't forget about that.
Oh, yeah. I feel like you're going to hold me to that.
I need that story.
But I think that there's this confidence that comes with having all of these life experiences in your teens and your 20s, so that when you get into your 30s, no matter what your situation is, it's like the social approval, to me at least, is extremely irrelevant. I'm making decisions for myself, for my family, for my kids, for my husband, like whatever it is. I don't really care what anybody thinks about it. And like, obviously, you know, like the people that are really close to us, my parents, whatever, like I want their blessing. I want them to, you know, understand. But even if I don't get the blessing, and even if there isn't an understanding, like I'm still making those decisions, and it's irrelevant to me. It is. I don't know how to say it. It's irrelevant to me. I feel like I have enough knowledge of myself to make those decisions.
Yeah. I also feel like another aspect of the whole thing is like, as we get older, of course, like the people that, you know, in your family, they get older too. Like my mom lives by herself, and I'm like, what, now that we're like you're getting a little bit older, what if you like fall and you hit your head? And she's like, oh, somebody will find me in 3 days. Like she's like, and she actually, one time I brought this up to her, and she said the same thing to me. She's like, when you were living, like I thought the same thing about you when you were young. Like, what if you fell and hit your head? Like anybody can fall and hit their head, but like you just think about your parents more now. You think about like all of these things. There's more that you're worrying about than just yourself.
Yeah. specifically to that point, I think when you're in your 20s, when you're in your teens, you make decisions. I was making decisions based off of my needs and what I wanted.
Yeah.
My needs, my desires, my wants. I woke up in the morning and I was living for me. I think, no matter what, most people are somebody's daughter, sister.
That's what I said
cousin.
about Amanda Batula. She's somebody's daughter.
Yeah, but we don't care about her. And what I used to be living for has significantly shifted. So when I wake up every day, the decisions I'm making, for my life I'm the last person that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking about my kids, my husband, my parents, and then me. And I think that that's probably one of the major reasons that you have this identity shift is just like your identity. I hate to say it in this way, but your identity is like not just about you anymore.
Yeah.
And, it's amazing in a way. And that's why I think like you're almost like more of a whole person. But yeah, my identity, I don't know. I'm not sure it like fully belongs to me anymore.
Well, it actually sounds like you're bringing it back to you.
Yeah.
You want to get out of the house and plan these trips and do these things. And I have heard too that while this all happens in your 30s, I heard 40s are where it's at also.
You mean the big 40
the big 40s
trips?
I feel like everybody that I've spoken to is
to
like
St. Bart's.
40s
like where you're going.
40s are lit.
Yeah.
Like I think your kids, because you get to a point where your kids are old enough where they're like more self-sufficient. You're less of like a slave to your children.
Yes.
And I always find myself, by the way, like as I'm saying this out loud too, like I find myself being like, oh, can't wait for that moment, but also like I don't want to rush time. It's crazy the whole thing. But like I have just heard that I feel like we're starting to approach that where we're like becoming more confident as moms and all these things. And we want to go out and we want to do parties. And we just made one of our friends host a huge 35th birthday because like we
wanted a party. Yeah.
We wanted a party. You're trying to plan this trip right now. And like, we want to get out of the house and do all these fun things. I feel like we're approaching that like really fun phase.
Right. Because you're even more confident and you know what you want and you also can get out of the house more.
I guess. I don't know. We'll talk about it when we get there. I've just heard that like 40s is a lot of fun.
I think my husband is the first to turn 40 in the group, right? I'm pretty sure.
He better make it look fucking fun.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure. I know I'll be planning a trip. So if nothing else, we're going on a big trip. I have some years to figure it out, but we're definitely going to be going away. But everything is really good. And I like this new personality. Like I'm a little bit of the old me. I'm a little bit of the new me. I'm trying to figure out who I'm going to become. And somehow it's like manifesting in girls' trips.
Well, I love it. I'm excited. I love trips. I love
Rachel's along for the ride.
100%. I've like always wanted to just like get back to those, like I said, when you're mourning those friendships and that time of your life, you're also like mourning that like
sleepover. You love a sleepover.
Like, I'm always like, can everybody just go? I want sleepovers. You want like this being spontaneous and just being able to like get up and go. And I think that that's also in your 40s. Like you could be a little bit more spontaneous.
You don't have that rigid nap schedule.
Yes. So if anybody's listening to this and you happen to be in your 40s, like, are you having a good time? Let us know. That's it for today. Yeah. So like we said last episode, so many fun things planned. Yes. Lots of fun guests, lots of fun topics. Let us know if there's anything specific you want us to cover. And thank you for tuning in.
Thanks.